I was playing Cat Quest. I actually played for about 3 hours today.
Oh, okay.
Didn't expect to really like that game so much.
The
Yeah,
jokes are
it's a
pretty
good game.
good. The
Yeah.
jokes are pretty good in there.
Yeah, it's like playing The Legend of Zelda, but with an actual RPG system in it.
Mm-hmm.
And as a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a very interesting game. I think that's the only one I beat. I have not played 2, and I know 3 is getting ready to come up.
August 8th.
Yeah. So I mean, I beat the first one, but I have not gotten to the second one because I believe that one has co-op, if I'm not mistaken.
well, yeah, I think so. But I'm going to blow through this first one, and
Mhm.
then I have the second one, so I'm gonna go blow through that too, and be prepared, get myself prepared for the third game.
Yeah.
All right. Jack, what about you? What you been playing?
I've been dabbling. I went back to Astro's Playroom because they added like these new. I guess you call them. I don't know if you call them trophies or what, but all of the Astro characters that are doing like not ripoffs, but like how can I say it? Are like the main characters from those
Homages?
games. Yeah,
Yeah, like
homage. There you
homages.
go. So like they have like Bloodborne, and there's like 2 or 3 more, and they're releasing 5 in total. But you go back into those levels and actually like find those characters, and then if you find those characters, they get carried over into the new game for you to have in that game. I don't know exactly what their purpose will be in that new game. I don't know if Sony's ever said what their purpose will be in the game. But I mean, that was pretty interesting to be Astro Playroom again, because that's a great platforming game. And then the simple fact of you being 100%er, you can just jump into any section of the level that you want to. You don't have to play it all the way through, which is pretty cool.
I think that's because Astro Playroom, the Astro Bot game's supposed to come out pretty soon.
Yeah, it's supposed to be in what, September?
Yeah,
September
I
7th.
remember on the trailer they showed like Kratos and they showed Alloy and they showed
Ratchet.
and they showed Nathan Drake. So
yeah, because right now, I mean, they've already like the Bloodborne character is already there. And so like you can go and find them, and there's like challenges on how to find them. So there's not like, oh, I just walked through a level and bam, there they are. Like it's a challenge to find some of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's been pretty cool. And then what else have I been playing? I keep dabbling in and out of Kenna. Like I'm at the end of it. I just need to finish it. And then what else? I think I tried to dabble in 2K, and it wouldn't get on the server, so I was like, okay, never mind. And so I just didn't play it. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay. I messed around and started playing Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope and wound up buying the game because it was only like it was one of them crackhead deals that was like 85% off. So I went on and bought it after doing the trial. Still playing First Descendant. I'm enjoying myself. I know there's some people that have been saying it's too much like Destiny and Warframe. I don't see the problem with that, honestly.
I think it's more like Warframe than Destiny.
It's more than Warframe than Destiny.
It's more like Warframe, but like they do, and that's what's helping me understand the modules and stuff like that. Because I'm like, okay, I'm already used to seeing it like this, so it's easier to understand. But I'm enjoying it myself. Took out my first in-game Colossi, played with some randoms, and we took that thing out. Unlocked the second and third places to go to on the map, so I'm actually having fun with it. So I just got to level up some other characters and stuff. I'm liking the layout of it too. Like they give you like how long it takes to complete each little task, and I'm like, thank you for putting that on there, because sometimes I wish more games would do that. Like, hey, look, it's gonna take you 5 minutes to complete this little task. It's gonna take you. You do this thing by yourself, it's gonna take you 15 minutes. You do it with a team, it's gonna take you 9. So I do like that they do that. And I also was playing Trails Through Daybreak. I still need to finish Reverie. But I've been playing Trails Through Daybreak. I just like the combat system in Trails Through Daybreak is awesome. So I'm enjoying that game a lot. And and Dragon Quest 11, because that's the other game I bought when it was on sale and it was a crackhead price from Square Enix. So
it's always hard for me to go through Dragon Quest games. Like I'll start playing them, and I just never revisit.
Never finish them.
Yeah, I never finished them.
The only problem I have with Dragon Quest is sometimes I don't really care for the soundtrack all that much because I feel like it's too much symphony.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and sometimes they play like the upbeat, jubilant stuff when a scene of horrific violence is going on. So I, like,
to be fair, that happens with a lot of stuff that's anime-esque anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
and then also, go ahead, Andre, my bad.
No, I was just going to say, like, how many times have you watched Trigun and not noticed that they have played upbeat music?
Oh yeah, dude, yeah. I'd be like, this don't like. I know people love to complain about hip hop and stuff in trailers and stuff like that, but sometimes this orchestral music be like, why y'all playing this when I just saw a kid get killed?
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Japan, y'all wilding.
Like your whole everything above your shoulders just got blown clean off, but they playing happy joy in the background.
Japan, Dragon Quest, Square Enix be like, we paid for this orchestra, we're gonna use this orchestra.
They got them in there working hard.
Yeah. We can't get John Williams, but we got the Dragon Quest orchestra, and we're gonna use them. So yeah, I can feel you on that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. Been on an RPG kick lately. So
that's what I've been trying to get on.
I've been trying to get my backlog. At least I've been doing good though. I've been finishing at least 2 games from my backlog every couple months. So I'm doing better for myself. So
the only game chopping at it, just like
slow.
Yeah, I'm just chopping at it.
That tree ain't going to fall, but you chopping it.
Yeah.
And you doing better than me because I'm beating games that were not in my backlog. So it's like I started playing Spider-Man 2 and I'm like, okay, beat it. And I'm like, but that was never in my backlog.
I gotta finish Miles Morales. I gotta do that one. So
well, you beating games in your front log.
There you go. Now, and what I'm probably gonna end up getting in trouble for is I start playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the demo, and I kind of like it. So I'm holding off because Astro's right around the corner, and that's what I'm waiting for.
Just wait for the crackhead price.
For sure, I'm not touching at full price.
Yeah,
definitely gonna be somebody selling out there, selling the whole collection for like $20 at some point.
Yeah.
So I just wait for that. So, all right. So, y'all ready to talk about this inflation?
Of course.
All right. Let me present my screen right quick because. And I was telling the guys before we went live. I was telling Jack before we went live. I don't remember people complaining when Sony did theirs because they did theirs last year, and I don't remember nobody complaining about the price increase. Well, maybe like 1 or 2 people, but it wasn't widespread or nothing like that. So Microsoft, and if you've been paying attention to, I don't know, the economy of the world, everything has been going up in price. So this did not come as a surprise or a shock to me. It just didn't. But there is going to be a price increase for Game Pass. Now there's a new standard subscription. You can see it here on Pure Xbox. It's going up to $14.99 a month.
That one surprised me the most, though.
Yeah.
Because of what it took away, but go ahead. Yeah,
the PC price is going to be adjusted to $11.99 per month or regional equivalent, which once again that makes sense. I mean that does make sense. I think the problem that a lot of people were having was the things they took away.
Yeah.
Now some people have been grandfathered in. If you still are using yours, I stopped using mine, but it's not because I hated it. It's because I just don't have time. I got a new position at work, and I don't have time like that. I don't. So I was just like, I'll just go back to Xbox Live because I don't think I need is live for when I do play games that are online with friends. That's the only thing I really need. So that was my situation. Now I'm not the one to I make fun of people when they throw around things are anti-consumer because they're usually wrong when they're saying stuff is anti-consumer. They just don't want to have to pay for stuff. And I'm like, dude, you have to pay people you have to pay for
Right.
what you get for services rendered.
All right.
I need to chill out with this whole pro bono mess. But there is a breakdown for it, and in my opinion, I'm like, if it doesn't fit your budget or your needs, just move on, cut loose and move on. Now, if you want to play online, you're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah.
I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah.
So
because I think you hit the nail on the head, and even Jay mentioned it. Like, yeah, there were people that complained about it, I guess, for Sony, but it wasn't to this extent, because there's more that's been coming up for Microsoft's, I guess, increase in price. Now, the one that threw me off was Standard losing day one games. I thought that was going to be across the board. Like, that one confused me. But or go the route of what Nintendo does. Hey, you have the Nintendo Online, and then you have the expansion pass, to where, like, if you are standard, there's some games that you're going to have day one. If you're, or if you're on the ultimate, then you're going to get everything day one. And then gradually, I guess your library will increase on standard. So that one surprised me. Another complaint seems to be centered around PC Game Pass. I need people to look at PC Game Pass. It's not 1-to-1 with console Game Pass. Like there are games that are not on PC Game Pass that are on console Game Pass. Now, there's still a decent library because they still have a lot of work to do with PC Game Pass. But there's a reason why it's that cheap. Outside of like you not having to pay for online. But ultimately, I mean, like you said, you pay to play. They acquired all these companies. They're getting ready to drop quite a few games that are, I would assume, are top notch in budget. They're gonna have to get their money somehow. And then even when we talk about this partnered, and somehow like the Amazon Fire Stick TV thing got partnered in with this, like they're two separate situations. And I mean, we've seen the writing on the wall with Xbox for a minute. If you're gonna have a subscription service, you gotta pay for that. And like you said, Netflix has been going up, Hulu went up, Disney went up, everybody's going up in price. And the only difference here is Xbox is kind of giving you actual content that's going along with that, to where Netflix and Hulu, they rarely add stuff that's worth your time and still increasing your prices. So it is what it is. But all in all, I mean, the prices seem fine. They're not crazy. But at the same time, it depends on what you like. And if you don't like this, just go buy the game. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. What's up, Sandstorm? Can't hear you.
Oh, he got the Yeti. Let's see, I threw mine away a long time ago. That thing like to unplug itself and do all types of crazy stuff.
Have to redo the app.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that thing. Like, I came back. I'm pretty sure it was my kids. My kids have been messing with me. Like,
kids.
For no reason should they be touching the microphone, and I'm pretty sure it's my daughter, because she likes to pretend that she, streaming and everything. So she's got to like have it her way. And I came back from, well, I'll talk about that at the end. But I came back from a trip and basically like came into my room, to my office, and it was like, what is going on in here? This is not how I left it. Well, my mom was supposed to be watching y'all. She was doing everything but that.
They ate. They didn't die.
Yeah.
Right.
So they fine.
Driving me crazy, bro. So yeah, that's my woes. Well, what's up, guys?
So thoughts on the Xbox Game Pass increase?
Haha. It's funny that like for the longest time it's weird to me. Like it seems that the us hardcore-ish gamers from different teams like to point and laugh at each other, and like the Nintendo people always get the bottom end of the stick. Like at least ours was free for a while, and then it turned into yours is not free, and you don't get much for yours. Your internet or your online service sucks. But then we get like all of the retro stuff, and it's like, well, we don't play retro games. But then you turn around, then you turn around and talk about game preservation, and then it's like, well, it's not the same. But the thing about our prices is we've had the same price for the last 7 years. So now the prices increased for y'all, and I've seen a lot of people shill for that. Like, oh well, it's not that big of a deal. It's only an extra $10, But like, come on, bro. They hear enough people saying it's only an extra $10, and they're like, extra $5. Extra $3.
Increase in increments. Like,
Right.
I'll hit them over the head at once.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, you're paying an extra $20 for a service that gave you nothing extra. So, I mean, for me, I'm not huge on the Microsoft side as far as Game Pass and stuff like that. I know a few people. T has it like specifically for one of his devices, and I mean that's cool if that's what you play and how you play. But I mean, if that's like your solo way of playing games and stuff like that, I mean, you should be used to it if you got Netflix. But outside of that, I mean, it is what it is. It's gonna happen. I'm sorry it happened to y'all, but yeah, that's just the way of the world these days.
So to speak on your preservation point, Sandstorm, so do you think that is in a way included into this? Because now we're preserving and also increasing older games with this service. I mean, when you think about it, if I pop in an Xbox game or a 360 game, most of them are going to get a bump. They're going to look better. They're going to run better strictly off of, the service that they've provided. So for the person that doesn't have the space to say, okay, I got a whole shelf full of games and I don't want to keep all my consoles, in a way, Xbox is helping you preserve and play the games better.
Yeah, that's very true. And it's not like I mean, maybe the Xbox, I can't remember, but Shadow's not here, but it's not like you can just throw in anything and like the Xbox magically makes that happen. Like there's got to be some sort of software update or something like that for right. So I guess there is work that's involved in order to get the bump that's needed. I don't know how much that is. I don't know if it's a click of a button or if it's 30 hours, 40 hours of work. You know what I'm saying? A week's paycheck. But either way, I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, because and the only reason why I say that too is because we just got Perfect Dark. We just got Perfect Dark, and one of the things that's in there is like the high resolution mode that you can go into the settings and just click on, and like boom, it's there. But the Nintendo 64 mature thing didn't cost you any extra money, so
you just had to have expansion pass.
Yeah, about to say
it's basically in there.
Yeah, but it's and I would say I would say to compare that, none of the other games from the expansion pass have that setting except for that game, right?
I think Perfect Dark was like that on N64 in general because it didn't have that setting. If you had the expansion, if you didn't have the expansion pack in your N64, it didn't have that setting.
Okay.
But when you did have it, it was on there. So it's basically exactly how it was on the 64, but with widescreen, so you can actually use it.
Because if
well then I take it back now.
Because if Conquer comes, it's going to have the same thing in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Conquer comes, because what it was from '99 to the end of the N64 when they released that expansion pack. Those games should have.
Yeah, I want to say late '98 forward.
Yeah,
and I thought like the whole time, like the expansion pack, like you needed it for Perfect Dark, or you weren't able to play.
No, you can play Perfect Dark.
You can play Perfect Dark, but you can only play in the combat simulator, and you can only play with 2 people.
Yeah,
like half the stuff didn't work if you didn't have.
I'm about to say all of Donkey Kong didn't work.
Yeah, Donkey Kong 64.
That one was required. Okay.
Yeah.
But what about Majora's Mask? Because I know that was
Majora's Mask.
It was fine. It was fine. It didn't
Was
need
it?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
It
trying to
didn't need
remember because it was
I thought that
bundled
was
with the expansion pack.
Yeah, I thought that
There
was
was-
another one that was required.
No,
No.
it had issues running without it, but it still worked.
It still worked. Yeah.
okay.
I'm saying you didn't have to have it. I do remember because I was in Statesboro at the time, in college, and I knew there was a version that had expansion pack in it because it was that one. It was Majora's Mask and Perfect Dark that had that there was a version where you could buy with the expansion pack in it.
Mhm.
So, but you didn't need it for Majora's Mask. You needed it for Perfect Dark if you wanted to play the whole game essentially.
Okay.
That one, Conquer, Donkey Kong. Was Diddy Kong a part of Diddy Kong Racing a part of that too?
Diddy
I don't
Kong
think so.
Racing was one of the early N64 titles.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it wasn't that one. So yeah, it was. That was it.
But
Was like 99 forward.
There
But I
were
know
plenty
that-
of games that got bumps. They got graphical
Yeah.
bumps with the expansion pack.
I was gonna say because I know they came back and like a lot of even the older titles they like showed the expansion pack. You know, like oh you got the expansion pack in.
Yeah,
Like
because
Star Wars and stuff.
I know one
Yeah.
for sure was Duke Nukem 0 Hour because
Yeah, Duke Nukem.
I played it without the expansion pack, and then when I got it, I played it again, and it looked way better. It ran way smoother.
Duke Nukem, and I would say Gauntlet. Gauntlet.
Yeah,
did too.
Gauntlet.
Yeah,
Gauntlet ran way better with the expansion pack in it. So
It's, some games it just tended to clean up the visuals a little bit, but either way, it still helped
yeah,
Okay.
one way or the
I
other.
love that expansion. That was like genius, and it wasn't even that expensive either.
No, I think
I was just
I
glad
actually
got
had
mine
a
with
third
DK.
party one.
Yeah.
Mine was like $10.
It
Yeah, I got mine
wasn't
with
it?
Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
Doom 60.
I don't remember.
I remember all the Star Wars flight games all had them.
Yeah, I think the only one that did was Pod Racing. Pod Racing didn't have it. I don't think.
Pod
No, Pod Racing had it too.
It did. Okay.
Yeah, I just played that the other day because I was like, "Ooh, I need the Pod Race."
Yeah, no, the only one I remember that didn't use it was Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Man,
think so.
they had a lot of hits, but yeah, when I think about the whole increase stuff, I'm like, it comes down to like two things: like, do you find value in it or not? If you find value in it and it can fit within your budget, go for it. Because that's what I was with the expansion pack. I'm like, people was like looking at me like claiming I was stupid. I'm like, bruh, number one, you don't know what I can afford. That's number one, and number two, for me, it's worth it. So.
I think you hit the nail on the head, though. If there's value for you,
Yeah,
and that's the one thing a lot of people forget on social media. Like, it doesn't have to be a band that all works together. Like, oh, we all like it, so it should be this price. No, if I find value in it, then that's what I'm going to spend on it.
Yep.
And let's be real, the gaming community is the worst when it comes to like wanting to stand on principle, but don't never stand on principle. So I don't know how many times I've heard people say, "There's no way I will ever support NSO because this is anti-consumer."
And
Hey, bro, why are you on Smash Brothers, dude? oh, hold on, I didn't pay for it. Me and my friends, we all got together and do the family plan. Dude, you paid for it.
Yeah,
that counts as a sale.
And Nintendo knew that people would do that. That's why they set it up that way.
They set it up that way. So I'm like, bro, you still paying for it. Talking about you got Mario Kart Mondays, but you ain't pay for NSO.
People are weird. People are weird.
And Dog Boy, you are completely right. Resident Evil 2 on 64 ran great with that expansion pack in it.
That it did. Blew the top of that alligator head clean off.
I swear, like the only downside to Resident Evil 2 on the N64 was the music, because the soundtrack sounded so muffled. Well, all of the audio sounded muffled, but everywhere else it was perfect.
I mean, it was atmospheric, it was scary, and that shotgun was my best friend. So there was all the things I loved about Resident Evil 2.
And all on one cartridge instead of two discs.
Yep. Boy, people was mad about that. I remember people being mad about that. What is only on one cartridge? I'm like, I don't know. I ain't make it.
Well, that's because Nintendo helped Capcom with all the compression work. For some reason, people didn't understand that Nintendo helped Capcom put that version out. Here I am knocking controllers down,
tearing stuff up.
All right, so I think it's time for us to actually delve into Stellar Blade's dev shift up going public because a lot of
Stellar
people.
Blade.
I mean, I know a lot of y'all have strong feelings about Eve,
Look,
but
look.
I don't.
Like, I don't
She's a
understand it.
character.
She is like that was the one thing though. Even that was a character that you could have taken it to heights, and people just didn't do it. It's just like okay,
I'm just waiting for the show up in Smash Brothers so people can really get mad.
that'd be nutty. Like, that'd be crazy.
So apparently they went public. Now a lot of people don't like that because of CD Projekt Red. That's why they don't like it, which makes it makes a very good point because when you go public, yeah, you are now beholden to stockholders and investors, and that could hurt or help. Because in this case, it helped because they got a significant value increase.
Right.
So it's helping them out in the short term, but in the long term, we just have to wait and see what that happens. Now, y'all know how I feel about their game because I was one of the ones people said, okay, why are you not putting this on PS4 when that is clearly your bigger install base? I understand the PS5. You're trying to make people buy the PS5, but if you're gonna complain about sales a month later, then y'all should put it on at least the place where it has a bigger install base. Because
but I don't think they were complaining about the sales. It's just the fan base
it's the
complaining
fan base
about the
that
sales.
well, I know that was because I remember reading. I need to find an article. So I remember an article where they were Shift Up was proud of it, but
yeah,
they were like the article made it seem like made it
that
made
that
it
might
seem
have
as
been
though
them trying to cause drama though, because
Okay.
we know how some of the news organizations are, where
Yeah.
they'll take words and misquote to the wrong person or twist the words up.
Mhm.
Then
But
you
that-
go to the source. It's like that's not what they said.
But I mean,
Right.
like, there's a very easy solution to not having a company go public, and that's to support the game.
Yeah.
So I mean, unfortunately, there's just not enough people that were interested. I mean, it sucks, but that's what it is.
Which is kind of sad because I like Young Tae Kim. He's a great artist. I like his work. So yeah, and to me, I just think Stellar Blade should have been on more available platforms than what they were.
And it shouldn't have been
It
$70. I tell you that much. Like, and that's not even just from a like, oh, I'm eyeballing from graphics. It's like if I'm coming in as a brand new IP that really didn't garner a lot of positive attention, it garnered attention from
Negative
comparisons
attention.
and negative. So I'm not shooting that high. I'm not doing that.
You know, you make a good point because we did say the same thing about that EA game.
Yeah.
The first, like there was no reason that game should have cost $140 million.
No.
So if that's your first one out the gate, I mean, I would still go for like if your aesthetic is to be visually appealing, okay, fine. But I don't think you have to go off the deep end crazy either.
No.
So there is that.
Tamper your expectations, and I think that's where I think we kind of circle back to what we were talking about with First Descendant, to where I have no issue with the game. Like you said, the game is fun, but it begs the question from a person that has played games for years, like, is this all we can do at this point? Every time we turn around, there's another shooter. So I think Stellar Blade fell into unfortunate timing because now we're just about to get a whole bunch of slice and dice games, like between Wukong and the Project Zero, Blade Zero. Like, you're running into that situation to where more people are probably going to hold on to the dollars and then splurge on those games that, you know, are, while new, they've kind of garnered that attention. Because I think we've been looking at Wukong for a minute.
It's been about 2-3 years.
Right. Yeah. To where I feel like with this game, it was more so those that like, oh, well, Bayonetta should have been on blah, blah, blah. But
not really.
Yeah.
Because if we run into the same issue, like the reason why Bayonetta is where it's at because see what y'all did to Stellar Blade.
Right. You did the same thing.
You did support it.
Repeat offenders.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, and then like to kind of go back to your point of like the fan base of PS4, honestly, how do you make that transition? Because Sony seems to have been pretty good at making that transition in the past. I mean, they've got people from 2 to 3, 3 to 4. Yeah. So
the problem is one, those games, and we saw it with Miles Morales. Spider-Man 2 can be on doggone PS4 because you got you got the Pro.
Yeah.
Now, day one PS4, probably not, but PS4 Pro, yes, it can. Like, you got 130 mil on PS4.
Somewhere around there. Sure.
You got 140 mil.
The majority of that, though, is the base model in the Slim.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, though, you still got that, and you have the Pro out. I don't know how many Pros, because they didn't separate them. They didn't.
I'm going to tell you this. If it was a significant number, they would have separated it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
but
you
that's
know
what I'm saying. Like I don't. Yeah. So, but the thing, my point is though, you still have that base as opposed to that. What is it? 40, 50 mil PS5 has now. Yeah. So
I still think like a third of that is in the hands of scalpers.
Yeah.
I swear it has to be.
Yeah. So it's not like you have a lot. I mean, so to me. From a business standpoint, and I know that this ain't no big graphical leap that we're doing. I mean, why don't you put it on as many? Because you can't say they've been doing that because there have been a lot of games, even on those PlayStation Directs, where they put in real small letters, also available on PS4.
Right.
Yeah.
So they have done that. So it's not like, because it would have been a problem.
The Pros were like 2 years in when these consoles showed up.
Whenever Xbox.
No, it was
it would have been because
they were around between 2016 and 2017 because it was around the time Switch launched.
Yeah, which is why everybody started saying Switch should have a Pro.
Like okay. So I mean, 3 years into a Pro. Because I'm looking at it now. Like if you go to GameStop, you can get a Pro for $210, and depending on if you even want to go the next route of customization, because you got the all white one, the all black one, you got the camo, you got red one. So, and that's something that you're not getting with the 5 unless you buy those $50 plates. But other than that, I mean, you're getting customization. Like you said, the games are still coming. They shot themselves in the foot with the Pro. There was no big graphical leap, and I think if I'm pronouncing it right, Gwen Evans mentioned like there really isn't a reason to move you to the 5 from the 4, and the same thing with Xbox. Because if you look at the real difference, and I know there's more than that, but the real difference is the controller. And then if you turn off all those features on that controller, what else do you have?
and to be fair, like that's why I would give Microsoft this. They just like, look, you use whatever controller you got.
Yeah, it's smart.
Sony, it'll be different if Sony actually made the developers use the features, but they don't make them use them. So. Is that
a thing? Like, can you force?
I mean, you can't. I don't know. You can. I don't know if you can actually force. But
they could technically, depending on how they set up their contracts. But if they did that, just thinking reasonably, those those publishers, I should say, would probably want some sort of deal in place where they get a certain amount of money for using it. Which, to me, I think that's stupid, but that's what they would more than likely do.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking advice from from the company that's making the console. So I'm like, okay, what do you think will sell on your console? I'm taking that advice. And you say, okay, even if I don't know what to do with the controller, hey, Sony, we got this game coming up. What can we do from your perspective with the DualSense when it comes down to our game? I don't think a lot of developers do that.
No, they just make the game. They just make the game. And I think that's been an issue because I hate the term gimmick. It's like a gimmick. And I'm like, no, because that's what your controller, that's what it is. That's how the game controls. It's not a gimmick. It's how the game is controlled. That's how you're supposed to interact with the game. But I think that's what gets thrown around. But I mean, this probably wouldn't be as much of an issue as if Microsoft and Sony actually went harder than paint for first party. They don't do that.
They don't.
Right? No, not at all.
Probably wouldn't be an issue if they would do that, but they don't. They pretend like Sly Cooper don't even exist
at all.
Jack and Daxter don't even exist. I'm like, bro, okay, y'all tripping.
Yeah.
I mean, Xbox just figured out they want to use Fable again, so
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot would be different in the sense of like because we went heavy on this SSD as if that was something new, technology wise, but because
power of the SSD, all hell.
You can't play Ratchet and Clank unless you have the power of the PS5 SSD. Then proceed to put it on PC and say, "Oh, well, you can play it. You can play it off of a hard drive. We don't suggest you do, but you can."
That was so funny. Yeah, that was so funny.
Yeah,
but you got to make your money though. That's the thing. Like they had to make money, and
it didn't. Obviously,
they were going to put it where they could make some money. So they said, "Okay, we'll just put it on PC."
It obviously did not make any money.
Yeah, it obviously didn't. But
that's crazy.
I understand. You know, because they didn't make what they wanted to make. And then,
but that's also another thing because they said that you couldn't really play that game without the PS5 controller, but you put it on PC, and people are using Xbox controllers that don't have any of the features of the DualSense. So at that point,
you lied.
You lied on two fronts.
You lied.
Which is why I say they should have just put it on PS4 as well. But you know,
I mean, they should because I mean,
they had. I remember hearing that they had a build of it for PS4. I don't know what they did with it.
Because I mean, you look at the resurgence of Ghost on PC. Like that could be on PS4. It may not be as pretty, but I mean, PS4 Pro was not a slouch either. So it's like if I take Ghost and I say, okay, PS5 got its run. Now we're gonna put it on PC and PS4 Pro. I'm curious to see what those numbers look like.
True. It's true.
Because they'll be telling. Because I mean, if you go and you say, because I don't know if Sony shows PS4 numbers as far as game sales are concerned. So I'm curious as into what Miles Morales did on PS4. Like I'm curious as into what games that got both releases, like what they did on either console. You said Ghost. You think Ghost is on? Oh, let me check.
I think it actually is.
Hold on.
Yeah, it is. It came out on PS4 first.
Did it?
Yeah, that's right. It came out on PS4 first and then came out on PS5.
I did not know that. But so, okay, in that case, I'm curious as to what it did.
What it was, yeah. What did it do? If that's the case.
I'm about to look at some footage of it to see kind of how much it differed. Because I heard no one talk about it for the PS4. And you know, you always got some stragglers. You always got those that's like, hey, when you go to the new console, I'm going to the bargain bin because you let them go. Like, you always got those.
Gotta get those. Gotta get them crackhead prices in too,
sir. Yeah.
I think when it went to PS5, people were picking up for PS4 for like $20.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cheap right now. I'm looking at it now. It's pretty cheap, and I'm seeing this lovely Digital Foundry PS4 to PS4 Pro comparison and performance test. But I mean, it looks good.
It was a sad because when it came out on PS4 first.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Wasn't it like 8 months before the PS5 dropped?
I think it was right before PS5 dropped.
Because they had because I remember that because they showed it at an E3. It was like they did this real elaborate mock-up for E3, and it was supposed they came out that summer, but they pushed it back to the next summer. So yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then COVID hit and everything got slowed down.
Yeah, and then we was in the middle of that chip shortage, so that's when they decided to do the director's cut or whatever.
That's
actually no, and it was about a year before PS5. Because then PS5 and Xbox Series come out in 2021.
I thought it was 20
or late 2020.
Late 2020. It was late 2020. It should have came out. It should have came out in 2020.
Yeah, that's right. Because we kept saying it should have came out a year later because they ain't had nothing ready for either.
It was nothing ready for it. Then on top of that, the chip shortage and all the supply chain management issues that was happening. People weren't getting parts. The only reason why Nintendo was able to get parts was because they had already moved their stuff way before everybody else did. They'd already cut out of that deal that Sony and Microsoft was using. They would
Yeah,
use
they
somebody
cut out
completely different.
like a year before that.
Yeah, they would use somebody completely different, and that's the only reason why they were able to still sell their stuff. Why they didn't have a problem. Well, as much of a problem as they did. So
I'll tell you one thing, based off what I'm seeing, I wouldn't advertise Ghost on PS4 either.
Because they look almost the same.
There you go. Yeah, like, like I'm looking at the footage. I'm like, bruh, because even on the PS4 Pro version, you can either do graphics or high or a better frame rate, and so it could run just as smooth as. And I mean, they did a hell of a job as far as the art style. So, I mean, I'm getting a couple more leaves on the PS5, but it's like other than that, like,
how about it? Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yep.
Ugh,
That's why everybody keeps saying there should be a PS5 Pro. I'm like, that would be stupid and a waste of money if they did.
All right, we need that PS5 Pro. Hopefully, it comes this holiday so I can laugh.
But they shooting themselves in the foot again if they do that.
If they do that,
it was a massive shot in the foot to go ahead and throw out Pro versions of the Xbox and PS4.
Right.
Xbox One and the PS4.
But they had to do it because Nintendo had a new.
They didn't know. They didn't have to do it. They
didn't
chose
have
to do it.
They didn't have to, but they were not going to leave Nintendo on the block for.
And they wasted. But the problem is they waste so much money doing that, and it didn't do anything for their sales.
No, it didn't.
That was just a waste of money.
Those
could have been new platforms.
The other reason too is because nobody knew the pandemic was coming.
Yeah, nobody knew
that.
Yeah.
Nobody knew that. So that
I'm sorry. Even if I knew, even without that knowledge, I would have looked at that and be like, "We are wasting money to do."
Yeah, I would have did it.
These could be new platforms. Let's put the development into these, and we just hold on to them a couple years down the line because we still need to build up a library anyway.
Yeah, that's
you don't want to rush out there and have nothing like they did.
Yeah, that was the thing. They had no library. That was the killer for all of it.
Well, you can count on your fingers how many exclusives there are, but for the PS5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I may be looking at this from hindsight, but man, because I mean, if I'm getting something like this out of the Pro, they should have kept like working with that.
They should have left it with the Pro.
Yeah, because I mean, I think Andre is right. I mean, I think y'all both right in the sense of, do you want to take that risk, letting Nintendo go get in their bag? Like, do you want to take that chance? Because these crazy fools just dropped a hybrid console. Like, do we even want to see if people adapt to that? We made that mistake with the Wii. Like, we thought people weren't gonna play with a single controller and a nunchuck. Like a nunchuck, I ain't worried about Nintendo. 100 million later, like, that should have
problem with that was both Microsoft and Sony got hit up by the company that ended up working with Nintendo for the Wii. So that's their fault anyway.
Yeah, I it's one of those things. I get it. Business, you can never catch everything. But if you already pulled the trigger on the Pro, it is giving me Sega vibes. Like, okay, like, here's the Saturn. Oh, by the way, here comes the Dreamcast. Like, dude, I just got this Pro. Like, calm it down.
Only difference is Microsoft can afford to do it. Sony and Sega can't.
100%.
Well, Microsoft can afford to do it. Xbox can't.
You're right. Yeah, that's true.
Point made. Point made. So, all right. So let's talk about this first Descendant. And I already said that I am enjoying myself. I'm playing it on Series X, but I noticed something on all the promotional material. It's available for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series S and X, Xbox One, and PC. Somebody's missing that. Got like 140 million.
They're not doing that.
I'm not even gonna hold you. The way the game is designed, put it on the Switch, that game would have been running at 10 frames a second.
First of all, if that thing is running on Xbox One,
it's running on the Xbox One, but it's running at like 30 to 35 frames on Xbox One. That's what I'm saying. If they put it on the Switch with how haphazardly they are with code, it would have been horrible.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, it runs best on PC.
Yeah,
just hands down, especially on max settings. But I was just sitting there looking when they said Xbox One and PS4. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on now. And Unreal, once again, Unreal Engine is scalable. So you're not telling me you're using 5 on Xbox One. No, you're not. Not like that. You're not. So do you
It's gonna be a
It's gonna be on
situation
the successor.
where it's gonna be because I think that's the real reason why it's not there right now. I think that some companies are trying to get that last little paycheck, like that quick dollar.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think at this point, like we're looking at it's an hour before the next day for them. So I think it's really like, okay, we could drop it here, but yeah, let's wait and drop everything because the more and more I think about it, as we're kind of sitting and waiting for whatever's coming next for Nintendo, it really feels like everybody's trying to get in on that launch window. Like everybody's trying
to be.
Yeah, everybody's trying to make a move. This may I want to take a shot and say this might be one of the best like launch windows that Nintendo's going to have, just because nobody wants to fall behind again. Like the only person you might see is maybe Rockstar and EA, like looking silly still. You know what I'm saying? But
I don't even think Rockstar is going to be sitting back too much longer. I have a feeling that we might end up seeing Manhunt 1 and 2 end up for the next platform.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Well, I mean, at this point, if you're trying to make money, because once again, we said this before, these games cost too much, and it's bad when you got Nintendo saying the same thing. Like, look,
just give us Chinatown Wars 3D. I'll be straight.
Yeah,
Exodia. You ain't even gotta give us Grand Theft Auto.
Everybody wants to.
Really, Zodia?
Okay.
All right.
Everybody wants to be a part of that lineup.
Which is interesting because, I mean, from a third party, usually they sit back and watch.
Yeah.
I don't think you can afford to do it this time around.
You
can't afford to do it.
I think it's more, with every generation that Nintendo has came out with, it's always been a like, oh, well, like, is that going to hit or not? You know what I mean? And because this is like the first time outside of like the NES to Super NES, you know what I'm saying? Because like you got the NES and the Super NES is basically the NES Super, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
souped up. Yeah.
But everything beyond that point was like a guessing game, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, how is 3D gonna work that well? You know what I'm saying? Then you kind of got the GameCube, which is in itself, but like the Wii was like, oh, how they gonna take the motion controls? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, Wii U, how they gonna take to the second screen? Like that was even Microsoft was like, like, oh, we got a second screen just in case. Just in case something, So Sony was like, oh, we got this Vita just in case anything pop up. So like this is like, okay, we got the Switch. And how we're thinking is going to be like a more performance, stronger Switch. A lot of those developers are like, okay, they got us the first time. Like we ain't pants is I put on a belt this time. Like no pants is going to be down this time. So I think that's why we don't see it now. Because you can even argue like with Warframe. You know what I'm saying? Like Warframe wasn't there, but then they like all this extra code was in there, and they were like, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? It works. It works just fine. Just go ahead and play that. So I think it's a similar situation, but they're like, nah.
And plus, hadn't it been rumored that they've had those dev kits out for over a year?
Yeah.
So those games are probably already.
Probably already done.
Because people are suspicious. Like a lot of developers are suspiciously quiet. Like
very quiet. Yeah.
Because the NDAs are tight.
Yeah, I don't recall a year being this quiet before without somebody like vocally saying like either something's coming next year or we literally don't have anything and here's all these updates.
I mean, the closest one was when Ubisoft said they should have waited on Rabbids Sparks Hope.
Yeah.
And even when they said that, they tried to come back and be like, we didn't mean nah, y'all meant that.
Right.
That's when
y'all meant it when you said it. We meant
it. That's when people realize, oh, they have the dev kits.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or at least some companies had them.
Some inkling.
I think the bigger ones had like
your big hitters,
like your Ubisofts, your EA, your
Bandai
Namco's. They had them, but I don't think like the smaller guys got them until probably like last year or so.
Yeah, because I feel like Nintendo will know what that lineup looks like, and I think they're kind of trying to curate. Because I don't know how involved these developers are from a third-party standpoint of what that first lineup looks like. Like I know they want some form of first-party presence, but I don't know if they get involved with the third party. But I can imagine everybody beating down Nintendo's door, like, "Hey, everybody can't get into the club at one time. I'm gonna let y'all in individually, like when y'all come in, because everybody can't get that first-party love." But I also think there's.
Hey, can we get some amiibos too? Can we get some amiibos too?
I swear that. I swear 2K is feeling it that they did not work with Nintendo sooner and get amiibos going with them.
Sony.
Oh, there he is. He's in the chat.
Yep, he's in the chat. So.
There we go. But I will say I think there's another caveat this time around. We've always seen developers disappear every generation, like ones that were just struggling. But I think this is the first generation to where even a successful company could still fall off if you don't put your product everywhere. Like that's a scary thought.
That's why I was saying what I was saying about Stellar Blade. I'm like, that should have went as many places as it can. Yep. The thing with Bayonetta, I remember Kami telling me, like, look, we went to Microsoft and Sony. They told us no.
There you go.
They went to them first.
Nintendo was the only ones that said yes. So yeah, it's gonna be there and it's theirs. And if you want to get mad about it, get mad at Microsoft and Sony.
Yeah,
that's basically what Kami said. So I'm like, that's a different situation. But I'm sitting here looking at Stellar Blade. I'm like, man, you should have put that out on as many platforms as you could.
It should have at least been on PS4, but we also don't know how many people Shift Up had to allocate to it.
That's true. That is true. But now that they're going public, that may help out. I know some people don't like I said, I know some people don't like it, but it has its pros and its cons.
If the people don't want them to go public, they should have been buying the game.
Yeah. I mean, there's also too, like we mentioned, I don't know how much easier it is with these dev kits for this next Switch or next successor, if you will. But I wouldn't be surprised. I say at least 2 years, maybe 3 years down the line, Stellar Blade pops up on a Switch successor.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
Try to get some more love coming through.
I mean, you've seen it happen with Bandai Namco been doing it.
Yeah.
So Bandai Namco's been thank you, Jim Ryan. But yeah, Bandai Namco's been doing that a lot lately. So I'm surprised they haven't put any of them Tales games out. I'm pretty sure that, or unless they're just waiting for like a collection or something.
Yeah, I guess
potentially.
Yeah,
because Tales of Graces came out in Japan on Wii. It just didn't. Tales of Graces F came out over here on PS3. So I would not be surprised if they because those older games aren't as big as like Arise and newer games are. So you could probably put them on put them in the collection since everybody loves collections now. So
right.
Hey, look, collections are game preservation too.
Yeah, they are game preservation for the win. All right, so one game you guys are looking forward to in the latter half of 2024.
What am I looking forward to?
I have not thought about it.
Astro. Astro is the fresh thing on the brain.
Yeah.
Because that's coming up pretty close. So I mean, I'm definitely investing a lot of time in that. And then I would say, of course, Brothership is something I'm looking forward to. That's supposed to be later this year, or is that?
Yeah,
it's later this year,
October.
So yeah, I mean, and then the Echo of Wisdom.
Echoes of Wisdom. Yeah. I think that's probably, if I'm honest, that's probably the only thing that I'm thinking about right now is Echoes of Wisdom. Anything else that just pops up, it pops up. If I see it at the moment I want it, I'll go ahead and worry about it then. But I think Echoes of Wisdom is the only one I'm really worried about.
Well, as you know, I have a few. Let's see. Well, Echoes of Wisdom, of course. I'm actually looking forward to Sonic Shadow Generations. I saw the little featurette they put out. I want to say a couple weeks ago, and then they showed the Shadow intro. I'm actually looking forward to that. That Renatus game, the RPG from I forgot who.
Oh,
NIS.
I know which one you're talking about.
From
Where you
NIS.
look like they got the combat Pokemon.
Yeah, and Yeast 10 Nordics.
Oh man,
Yeast 10
oh
Nordics.
I forgot all about the Marvel's Capcom collection. See,
yeah.
Shoot, I forgot all about that.
Dude,
there's a lot of stuff because the Dragon Ball
stuff coming out.
Yeah, the Dragon Ball Sparking game comes out October. Metaphor Refantastic. I'm not sold on that yet. But yeah, I can see there's a lot of stuff that's coming, and even Visions of Mana. So that's coming. So there's a lot of stuff that's coming at the end of the year. So
so much stuff for year 8, and we keep forgetting.
Yeah. Honestly, and you want to know something that everybody forgot about? Them Sega Classics. Remember
last forgot about them. They haven't mentioned anything.
They ain't said nothing.
But I'm just saying though. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much, because I remember they were saying like a couple of those games supposed to come out this year. I think the last thing I heard was that they were making Crazy Taxi MMO,
like an open world situation.
Yeah, that was not smart. But okay, whatever.
If they paid attention, that's what killed Burnout. Yeah. Like Burnout decided to do this open world thing, and most people didn't like it. So I mean, I'll try it because nostalgia.
It's Crazy Taxi. Yeah,
it's Crazy Taxi. You got to. I want to hear that soundtrack. That soundtrack has to pop because
BD Joe.
I've bought Crazy Taxi a few times, and I've played on the Xbox where they got rid of the soundtrack. I'm like, no, this ain't the same. It was the same game, but the fact that the music was, I'm like, I don't want to touch it. It's nasty. I don't want to.
That one, because that first one and Big Apple.
I love Big Apple one.
I don't want to touch that. So I'm curious.
I think it would be okay because the Crazy Taxi was always a sandbox anyway.
Yeah, it just was a single player sandbox.
It's okay as long as there's a bunch of chaos happening. Because let's be real, if it's a bunch of people dropping into this big world and we all trying to catch the same fares, that actually might be all right.
Yeah, well, it looks like it has like some cop stuff involved in it too, so I'm pretty sure it's on some cop robbery type of deal.
Try to get your customers to their destination while avoiding the police.
Man, hey, don't get me started. I'm ready.
Or you pulling up, picking up somebody after they just robbed the bank.
Yeah, I'm with it.
So, and because I was looking forward to what was Altered Beast and Streets of Rage and Shinobi. Those were the ones I was looking forward to. But of course, they didn't say which ones were dropping. They just put the trailer out and then didn't say nothing except for Sonic Shadow of Generations, Sega.
But so that's the thing. So this would be my guess, right? Like we've seen snippets of the game. People are still doing murmurs with Crazy Taxi being the first one out the gate. Yeah. I really would showcase it like maybe one more time, and then I will allow Nintendo to put that in some form of a direct for that new successor. You take advantage of being first in line. Like there ain't nothing else to play on it.
Be their best streetwalker.
Yes, you got to. You got to.
Like, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense, to be honest. I mean, it does make sense. And it's Sega. It's not like they hate each other.
Right.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah. Don't let Howard Lincoln hear that. But yeah.
Yeah, that's how I would run it, because I mean, you got quite a few games. This is your resurgence of these games that we're looking forward to. I mean, granted, Streets of Rage 4 got an awesome reception, but now you're putting it in 3D. So that's like, you're making that step. So now it's like, okay, cool. Crazy Taxi, you're taking it from an arcade game to an open world online game. So there's a lot of things you got to be very careful with. I would say take your time with it. Give people enough content to continue to enjoy it, especially if it's going to be online and even on a single player front, and then drop the next one. Yeah. But they got to take advantage of this new console feel, because I don't know if y'all are just like me, but every time I get a new console, you fiending for something new. Like, let me just pick this up. I don't know what this like. It looks stupid, but hey, it's a new game. Let me pick it up.
That's why I never understood why they took so long to do Altered Beast. I never understood that. I'm like, that game should have been
Well,
Mm-hmm.
the problem is the bad versions of Altered Beast kind of tarnish the reputation.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, Golden Axe.
Now, Golden Axe, yeah, they should have definitely done something with that. I would love if Sega would go back and remake the fighting game, the Golden Axe the Duel.
Yeah.
That was only on Sega Saturn. Like, y'all have so much stuff. Y'all have a library of stuff y'all will not touch.
To
Do
save their
something
life.
with it. Like, you got Bug and Bug 2. Go ahead, but put those out. Clockwork Knight. Put that out.
Yeah.
They got it. I mean, but I do look forward to it. I'd rather them not come out this year. Have them come out next year.
Have them come out next year.
Yeah, it's a little too crowded this year.
So you do a presentation at Tokyo Game Show and Jump Fest, and then just push everything to next year? Just to let people know that we still working on it?
Yeah. Because, I mean, you dropped it and then you didn't say nothing else. So I was like, okay, that was exciting when we saw it. Like, I don't know anybody that looked at it and was like, oh, that was bad. Like, people were hyped.
Yeah, they were hyped for that, especially when they showed that, what was it, Altered Beast and Golden Axe.
But don't show it to me again and then don't have a date for me. Like, don't do that, because you can only get that dopamine hit one too many times before people are like, you know what? Forget you, Sega. Like, don't care nothing about you in them funky games. Like,
basically, essentially.
So what they should do, once they establish whatever is going to be first, put those out first. Like, put those trailers for those out first, because obviously for Tokyo Game Show coming up, if Crazy Taxi and say Golden Axe are the first two they're going to drop, to do trailers for both of those.
Yeah.
With their release window at the very least. And then at the next show, do the next two with their release window. And as much as I hate to say it, but because people go on to watch it just because they like to roast it.
Yeah.
Make sure that there's something prepared for the Video Game Awards as well.
I mean, that they would have to. I mean, just make sure it's before Jeff and Kojima's love affair.
There you go.
Or if you're going to do it after, make sure it's clear of that. Like, make sure it's like a solid 20 to 30 minutes after he's done glazing them.
Yeah. Now, question, I could be wrong on this. Has Nintendo ever done a Treehouse Live with a third-party game?
Yeah,
they've done a couple.
Okay, so this is where you put Crazy Taxi. This is where you put Golden Axe. Like, you put them in these Treehouse Lives, you let them play them games and show them off. Because that was one of the key things. I think we all remember, people were ready to say doom and gloom on Switch, but then everybody that had an opportunity to go to those events, and they were like, we can't explain it to you. You have to just play it to understand the appeal and why people like it. And then the Treehouse Lives were stacked on top of that. And I sat there, I watched that event all day. Like, I was off work. I watched them play every game, every segment.
It was 8 hours. It was straight up 8 hours. Yeah.
It was long.
And some games got 30 minutes, some games got 40, but yeah, it was 8 hours. It was game after game after game. Okay, we got to go to the next one. They bring the developer and they translator in. They'd have either Audrey or Rich or Bill playing, and they talking to them. So yeah, Treehouse Live messed up the game industry for so many people because we got to the point where we was like, I don't like CG trailers no more. Where the damn gameplay at?
And the crazy part about it is, like, it's even better if you show me gameplay, but I don't see nobody playing it. It's better than that. Like, I love the fact that the creator is there talking to me about the game and the things I can do in the game and showing me playing the game. So I'm like, all right, cool. That looks fun. Like, you're not just trying to show me all the hot points of this game, kind of like a movie trailer, like, oh, here's all the exciting parts, and I go to the movie and I'm like, well, damn, that was the whole movie. Like, but yeah, I need, that's what I'm telling you, like, Sega needs to do that. Sega, you show up at the Tokyo Game Show, you do a Treehouse Live with Nintendo whenever they're showing the successor off. Like, let them have 2 of those games, and I guarantee you, everybody gonna show up for them, 100%.
Yep. And along with that, throw out some demos. Like, as soon as the Treehouse Live is done, once we're finished with this, there's a demo that just went live on the eShop.
Oh, that'd be crazy because it's for both consoles. Yeah, that'd be nuts. Yeah.
Because that's one thing I'm still thinking is gonna happen. Like it's gonna be backward compatible.
Yeah, of course. Shadow, I need you to love yourself more. Do not touch Madden. And do not touch NCAA.
Just touch it.
Oh, we talked about this.
NCAA is what everybody is what I'm hoping is good. Madden, I refuse.
But see, they playing with your emotions and your nostalgia. They almost got me too. Like because it's kind of similar to like what 2K is doing right now. Like they threw Vince Carter on the cover. Like, why? Like what was the randomness of throwing Vince on the cover?
Because it's Vince Carter, man. Come on, dude.
I mean, but he should have been on something a long time ago. I don't know if EA had that locked up because he was on a live at one point in time. So I don't know what those contracts look like. But
that is true.
Yeah, that don't make any sense. I'm like, Vince? Like what? I said, okay, I guess. I mean, he cool. I just didn't expect Vince to be on the cover, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean, could be worse.
Could
be worse. It could be worse. I mean,
but never underestimate EA on how much worse
EA
they can
or
make
2K.
something.
Yeah,
they'll show you better than they can tell you.
It definitely could get way worse.
Oh, you think we don't get worse? Hold my beer. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting second half of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be real interesting because I just think we're in for a lot of surprises. You know.
Speaking of surprises, somebody mentioned in the chat, are we going to talk about that Nintendo trailer? EMEO.
Yeah. Well, I can't talk about 14 seconds of a guy with a bag on his head. So yeah.
Like if it was Rockstar, I'd be like, okay, I know what this is.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. I'm like,
if it was Rockstar, I'd say that's Manhunt.
Yeah, that's Manhunt.
This could be Luigi's Mansion 4 for all we know with Nintendo's trolling behind.
I mean, but the fact that he just stood there and did the Mike Myers thing just went.
Yeah. Well, what if this is the Eternal Darkness y'all been asking for?
Or what if this is Mario Kart 9?
You know, that would be the weirdest advertisement you could have
possibly done. And you know what? It'll make sense if it did.
Well, we about to have our first Mario Kart be mature rated. That's crazy.
Yep. Y'all said y'all wanted realism. Unreal Engine 5.
No.
No. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. It looks interesting though. The teaser looked interesting because it came out of nowhere and it was just like, who is this? I'm like, okay, this is gonna be some craziness. This is gonna be some wildness. It might be Famicom Detective.
It could,
It very well could be. They deal with serial killers.
They deal with murders.
Yeah.
They are the video game equivalent to the Mystery Incorporated.
Yeah. So I mean,
what the chance of it being a new IP though?
Yeah.
Like them saying, okay,
there's a high probability of that too.
Because they don't have any horror games.
Not really.
Not direct horror, no.
Yeah. That would be interesting. Nintendo spin on horror.
Well, knowing them, they'll still make it fun.
Which is my point.
Nintendo has horror, but it's not horror in the sense that it's solely horror.
Right.
It's horror dispersed among other things.
I mean, we all played Kirby. Y'all know what happened in the last third of them Kirby games? Turned into a horror show.
Or Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
It's many moments.
Yeah. What is it? Twilight Princess. I remember some of them moments. Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Hell, the stuff Ganondorf was doing in Wind Waker where he ripping people's souls out their bodies so they technically not dead and then destroying their bodies so they can't move on. Like, bro, what? Just kill them.
Just think back to your first time encountering Gloom Hands and Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
How that freaked you out. Mine was still me being up on the mountain looking down there like, what the hell is that?
And then they come grab me from the side. Mine was when they grabbed me from the side of the mountain when I thought I got away. I'm like, what the?
Yeah, you had a worse experience than me. I was just up on the mountain and heard the weird music come on. I'm sitting there looking around, then look down the slope. And it's just down there traveling across the ground. Like, nah, I ain't jumping down there. I'm gonna wait.
Come. Like, nah, I'm good. Now
I think I waited a solid 2 minutes before I even moved from that spot.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Majora's Mask, the zombie hit. Yeah,
Potty.
Zombie House. Yeah, that was messed up.
Oh yeah.
That was messed up. So yeah, I don't know what to expect, but I do expect it to be crazy.
Yes, I need two of me.
I just noticed that. What was it? Super Mario World, Super Mario 3D
Double
World,
cherry.
the double
Yep.
cherry. Yeah,
That
Even
had
though
to be
you
the
could
most
pick up
annoying
like
power
two
up.
of them. You can pick up two of them and have four of you on the screen.
Right, that
and look,
is the most annoying.
it was annoying, but it came in handy sometimes.
It did,
look.
and then the fact that you can get star. Well, you had to have 4 to get certain stars. And I was like,
But that Mario Shadow Clone Jutsu was very useful
at
at certain times.
Mario versus Naruto.
Wow.
Yeah. So EVO. And they didn't say when the full trailer was coming, did they?
No.
Okay. So they're probably gonna drop something crazy
Out of
at
nowhere.
random. Yeah. Well, since let's see, what's coming up? Gamescom is coming up, or is it Paris? I gotta look and see.
I think it's Gamescom next.
Yeah. So if Gamescom is coming up next, then it's probably gonna be shown there. I would think, because why would you release a teaser if it was gonna show somewhere?
Because it's Nintendo.
And they are weird.
They're that weird family member like you associate with, but you're like, you're just a little too weird for me sometimes.
Basically. So interesting. All right, peeps. That's gonna do it for this episode. Hope everybody had some fun tonight. Talking about inflation and why y'all mad about it. All right. Jack, got anything you want to pimp out?
Just go to the channel. Watch the latest video on VR. Plan to do 2 more that I have coming up pretty soon. Thank you all for the support that have been showing support. Like I didn't expect to go over 100 subscribers this week, but I appreciate everybody that came through, subscribed, and watched the video, even for some of the lovely comments I received. Hey, you did, and y'all do you. But there were some people like genuinely trying to talk and express like what they wanted to see in the VR community, and I was like, that's pretty dope. Like people actually putting down there what they want to see, and that way it made it pretty good discourse there on the platform. But yeah, other than that, of course, continue to support the channel, continue to come and watch us every Sunday. Sandstorm podcast on Saturdays, I believe. Vito, when does Vito do it?
Friday and Saturday.
Fridays.
Every
alternating Fridays.
Yeah,
okay. Fridays. Yeah, so definitely continue to support. I mean, we appreciate y'all coming through, showing love, and yeah, just keep pushing on with us.
All right, Andre.
I mean, you can just go to my channel because I'm always stirring up trouble anyway.
Yes, you are.
So
always, you and Shadow both, bro.
Look, it's not my fault that people can't understand simple language. And then I have to explain it to them. And then when I do explain it to them, they get mad at me. So,
people all in their feelings.
But I have fun doing it.
All right. Well, Sandstorm, y'all, make sure to check the Sandstorm podcast on Saturdays, as well as the video, like we said, every other alternating Fridays. Oh, there he is. Sandstorm, anything you want to pimp out?
Oh, yeah. So this weekend, shout outs to Juice and T. I actually got to hang out with them yesterday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, got to meet them in person and everything.
Nice.
So we swim.
And he froze.
And
there you go.
Juice's place and his theater is crazy. That's a real theater. He's got a legitimate real theater. So shout outs to them. He's got a video on it about surprises and stuff like that. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Yesterday we talked about, what did we talk about? Do graphics really matter as much? I don't think that's the right title, but it's close to something like that. Which kind of went along the line of everything that we just kind of talked about. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you go check that out. Had a great discussion, and Tin Cisco was on the stream again. So I had a lot of fun with that. Risky came in right on time, even though I was kind of late. So I guess he was on time because I was late. He was extra quiet for some reason, so I don't know how that came about, but every Saturday, right. He came in strong too. I think he just got shut down real fast, and I don't know.
Well, when he asked, why do developers go ahead to certain platforms, and all I said was in the chat, shareholders. That's your answer. I don't think he said anything after that.
I mean, it's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah,
it's the complete truth.
He's on his cycle, so he might be in himself or something. I don't know, but this Friday coming up is a Vitoverse, so make sure you guys check that out. Every Saturday at 9:00 is the Stormcast, so of course, and then Wingin It podcast every 7:00 every Sunday. And then the Jill podcast would be tomorrow, but I think Juice is still hanging out with Robert. And I think T goes back tomorrow as well. So they won't have a Jill podcast tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right. Me and Vicky did our thoughts on Acolyte episode 7. Check that out. I also gonna put up some vids this week for the Switch Sports basketball, as well as the Colossi fight with in our first Descendant. So I'll probably throw up some Trails Through Daybreak as well this week. If I get a chance, I may go live with it. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet, so just depends. But check the channel. You'll see it this week sometime. Other than that, we will see you guys next Sunday right here, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that'll do it for us. Peace out, people.
Peace.
Peace.